Hey guys, welcome back to Evony with Genghis on server 68. So, do I have a story to tell you guys? Let's just start with many years ago when I was looking at getting back into Evony. I played Evony 1 and I just stopped playing for whatever reason. I moved across the world and I had limited access to it. I couldn't access it at work. And basically, I just left too many windows of time where I couldn't be online to defend myself. So, fast forward of 10 years or so, and this is a few years ago, and I'm looking at medieval war games trying to get back into Evony. And I came across this video, and I've never seen this happen in Evony. And basically, it was a guy, massive, think Sir Philip size. He was ruling the game, ruling, not ruining, ruling. And nobody could ever beat him. But the guy would stay offline for long periods of time and not use the bubble. And basically, it took the entire server to turn on the guy and take him down. And what they did was how you would imagine it would happen is basically they would all attack and then they'd heal their troops from the hospital. And the other guy, because he wasn't online, wouldn't be able to heal, and his hospital would overflow, and slowly troops would start to die, and they'd continue to attack and attack. And the YouTube video I watched on this, it took place over hours that they finally were able to basically just kill tens of thousands or $100,000 worth of troops on this guy. Well, anyways, something very similar happened on my server last night. So my server, basically, it's two Continent 1 servers and a Continent 2 server, and all merged together. And we have a couple players, upwards of 10 billion. And we have players, basically people who are over 6 billion or so. Most of them sit unbubbled, or some do. The ones in Nef Alliance, Nefarious over here. Lots of them sit unbubbled, as you can see, and there's really no fear. And there's other large ones who at times don't as well. Over here in BVS, there is White Mamba. He's no Hebrew Hammer now, or Dirk. He finished very high in All Stars, and he always has a bubble, and he's large. He's 10.6 billion. And one of the things that always gets said to him in SVS chat, so when you go over to the columns in chat and you see SVS chat that comes up in SVS chat, sometimes you'll get people who are always calling him names like bubble, female genitalia, things like that. And like they'll be like, oh, 10 billion, bubble, nice. And you know what? To be honest, I agree with him. It's just insurance. What's 2,500 gems every 3 days for insurance to protect your $100,000 account? It's smart. I would do the same thing, because what if you're offline? You don't really know these people. You have no idea what they're going to do. Maybe they want your, just for fun, just for subs. Anyways, last night, one of our large unbubbleds was offline, and the attack ensued. And unlike in the YouTube video I watched, people were online trying to defend this. And well, anyways, let's watch the video. So I'm sitting here in our keep, in our alliance chat, and all of a sudden this guy's coordinates get posted, and his keep's been for sale, so I didn't think anything of it. And sometimes people just post people who are unbubbled even though they're 10 billion. But then an attack gets posted. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, what is going on here? And then I start to think about things, and I'm like, this guy has the best historic city in the game, Rostock. It adds 15% to your alliance archer attack, which is obviously super important. Other stuff we'll get into, and I'm like, whoa, I wonder if they're trying to take him down. And I wonder, and then this guy who's being attacked, the receiving end, he is from Continent 1. He kind of changed alliances and joined Nef, who is now attacking him, but he left Nef and joined BVS, who is the second place alliance. But there's, a big difference between the two. Nef is a true war alliance. Anyone I've ever spoke with about the game, I've always said Nef is probably the best alliance in the history of Evony. There's obviously better ones, like Nef does not win Shalans, but that's just because unfortunate situation, they got merged to Continent 1, so they have 2-year-old accounts up against 5- and 6-year-old accounts. But they're doing well. They're 1 or 2 places out of making the finals all the time. But They're very, very experienced players and fearless, as you see here. So this is costly. They're attacking using siege, which before, about a year ago, there was a 1 gem siege repair trick that you can use and repair all your siege for 1 gem. But Evony fixed that glitch. They eliminated it, and now this is expensive. We're talking. One guy said it cost him 75,000 gems per attack, but he probably has the best science available to lower that amount, and it's probably higher for other people. And as you can see, there's another hit they throw on them, and these are all the people looking at their powers. It appears that they're hardly losing any on the attacks because they're healing, right? So they're attacking, and usually what people do in this situation, they add a couple 100,000 of T1 troops. So those are the ones that die off, and everything else will go into Holy Palace based on percentages. So have to imagine BVS here in this situation. They are reinforcing him, but panic's probably starting to set in terms of, whoa, we know what is at stake here, the historic city. And then also the guy's only been with them about a month or so, so that's probably a thought as well. And you can see scouts going back and forth and troops returning. And one thing I was surprised watching, I'm not really sure why, but in there you could see the power levels dropping. So this Chinese guy, he started at 9.6 billion, and there is the historic city. You can look at the buffs, and you can also see everybody surrounding it, getting ready to spam attack it and just hope to be the 10th hit. So even if Neff does all this work and they take him down, it still comes down to luck. And Neff knows that. And that is one of the things that makes them so great, is that it's like, yeah, we're going to do this, and we may get a reward for it. We may not, but we're doing this. And anyone who may have thought before this event that, hey, one alliance is 90 billion, the other is 85 billion, they're pretty equal. Well, I think now that is settled. And as you can see, his power is continuing to drop, but BVS is reinforcing him. But the reinforcements aren't really being touched. That is something that's very intriguing to me, that I guess when you just get that much power, you're in the billions and billions. A couple million in the embassy doesn't really help. It will only help once you start to get to the lower levels. And you can see Neff sitting there, lots of them. These are the guys involved in attacking New and Mini Mags and Raya, Mikan, lots of long-time Neff members who are involved here. And then there's some server 68 or 90, not sure where they came from, as it's 3 servers here who are also involved. And you can see BVS is sending reinforcements in and out and doing all they can. You can see General Gump there running a scout to put a red screen on someone and scare them off. You know, that's a good move you can do on defense. You can also maybe counterattack. There's other things you can do and throw them off, try to slow them down. You can see BVS is pulling out all the stops, but here's another one, and there's not much you can do when the other alliance is just sending siege. But you'll see here in the reports here, here's a big one. He lost 700 million on this, and this guy is sleeping the whole time. He's in China. It's approximately 7 a.m. his time. So I'm assuming BVS is just calling and calling and calling. And there's other players from Asia who are probably online and trying to get a hold of this guy. But he's so big, or was, and he's been trying to sell. He's probably pretty mentally checked out at this point and not really playing. There's also a rumor that maybe 3 people run the account and share it. So, and here you can see BVS lighting all the alts on fire around Neff and making them think about other things, I guess. But not sure Neff is taking their eye off the prize here. You can see troops returning and just getting ready for another one. So he's down to 6 billion here. He started at 9.7, I think. And this is going to be costly heal for everybody involved. And like I said, there's no guarantee Neff gets any of the payoff here. They may not get his subs. And this guy has a lot of subs. He's got purple japs all over the map. And the historic city. But who knows? BVS is good at that. And you can see here, they are waiting for troops to return. I'm going in and out of the game because this is taking place over almost 2 hours. And I'm just trying to log in. Mrs. Genghis is looking at me. And I'm trying to explain to her how big a deal it is here. And here you can see snowmen returning to Neff. So BVS is throwing snowballs, doing all they can to slow them down and try to save their guy. I guess that's what you got to do in this situation. But I think that Neff is not lacking in the advanced march speed up category. And one of the funny things you could see during this, you could see, because it's Barbarian event as well, so you could see packs being purchased as people have to go through repair bills to heal their troops. But like I said, this is a serious alliance. And here's a bit of another report. You could see this one took almost 600 million off of him, down from 6 billion. So he's getting down to 2-tap territory, basically. They're just trying to clear out all that siege and all those horse, and then it's over. And then it's a free-for-all for the historic city. And this is a very, very rare event on servers. I'd love to hear anyone else who has seen this happen on their server. I've personally never really heard of it late on a server. I've only heard of it early, or I've heard of it where one alliance was just so overpowered by the other one, and they probably didn't deserve the historic city anyways, and they ended up losing it. But I've never heard of it on a 6-year-old server, even though Neff, like I said, they're only 2-year-old accounts, and they're up against people who have 5 or 6-year accounts right now. And they are showing them, teaching them a lesson. And just waiting for troops to return. And here you can see excellent teamwork. Sidecox, this is a recently merged alliance to Neff. So even new members, this was Brazil 1, BR1, and they are just sending resources over, smaller guys doing their part, although they can't really help in the attacks, but sending resources and helping the big guys attack. And you can just see there's the historic city, all the alts sitting over there ready to spam it and try to take it. And another thing to keep in mind here is BVS has, the defending alliance has some options here, right? They kind of get to choose when they kick their member and go after the historic city. So they could reinforce their guy when he has no troops, because you can only hit subs with a solo attack. So they could kind of stall and trick the other alliance, make them focus on the main city again, and then kick him and spam it. So they do have options, and they do have a little bit of power at the end. Not power in terms of the city, but just in terms of leverage. Leverage is the word I was looking for. And you could see here just more sharing of resources, and another attack is getting going, and this one looks like it's Archer. You can see those dragons going in there, Leyden and Celtic. And as you can see here, as the dragon arrives, it is a snowman, which means BVS is throwing snowballs in defense. So you could just imagine Neff, every time they're launching, they're like, guys, quick, 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 before the snowballs hit. Because this is, it'll really slow down and protect the guy a little bit, right? Give him more time to wake up. So here is his power loss. He's now down, was that 3.6 it said? And getting down, basically have to assume the archers came in after all the siege, and he's now going to be 2 or 3 tapped right now in instant attacks. Neff's probably preparing to arrange their own spam team at the historic city. Wow, the guy came back online. And what you just heard there was my live commenting, where right now it's a voiceover, explaining to Mrs. Genghis that the guy came back online. And unfortunate for Yarf there, dropping bubble during the attack and just getting zeroed for what, the 100th time for that guy. That guy is a perennial bubble dropper, but terrible time to drop. And fortunate for Big China, he bubbled up. But that was an exciting event. As you can see, the city is now bubbled. That's the historic city. That would have been the big prize. And here he is. He's healed from 3.6 to 4 billion. That was done immediately. So he probably just emptied the hospital and healed. And maybe Holy Palace. But the Troop Soul is still sitting there. I'm going to guess he can probably get back up to around 7 billion. But there's going to be a couple billion of lost power. Maybe I'm wrong, and he can't get even. Some people have said he won't get even close to 7 billion. But I guess we will see. But even still, that Troop Soul in the Holy Palace, it's located right in this area inside of it. You have to click Revive Troop Souls. You can see just how expensive this is. So a certain amount of soul crystals and resources can revive Troop Soul up to 3 million power. So for 3 million power, you end up spending about, I believe it's like 50 million of each of the main resource. So say it's horses, 50 million for horses you end up, and then the rest is like 10 million or so of each resource. So it's going to be very expensive, and who knows how much he ever recovers from that. If he even does, lots of people would just walk away. He was sort of for sale. His name actually does say it's for sale, so who knows how that impacts things now. So this is Genghis, server 68. Like, subscribe, leave a comment.